Before we start today, I'd like to introduce to all of you to Sarah Heinley, new Finance Director for Cass County, and she will be representing Cass County on the board. So welcome. We'd like to call the meeting to order. Donna, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Mayor Mahoney. Here. Mayor Carlson. Mr. Steen.
Here.
Ms. Thompson.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Redlinger.
Here.
Mr. Grimberg. Mr. Pepcorn.
Here.
Mr. Capitan.
Here.
Mr. Reitz. And Ms. Heinley.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you, Don. Item number 2 is to approve the minutes of August 27th. They are in your packet and on page 3.
Move to approve.
Mayor Mahoney moves to approve the minutes of August 27th. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Capitan. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 3 is to approve the order of the agenda. Again, it is in front of you.
Move to approve.
Mayor Mahoney moves to approve the order of the agenda as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Steen seconds. We have a motion and a second to approve the order of the agenda for September 24th, 2025 as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on, we are now on item number 4. Item number 4 is to approve the bills of Susan Thompson, Finance Director for the City of Fargo. It is on page 6 and in your packet. Good afternoon and welcome, Susan.
Hi. The bills, as the mayor said, are on page 6. It's a light month. This is bills received through September 16th, and there's about a dozen, and the total is $353,113.36. It's primarily legal and some engineering costs, the typical things we see.
Would you repeat when you closed, what date? Through August what?
Through September 16th.
Through September 15th. Thank you. Are there any questions regarding the bills?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve the bills as presented for $353,113.36. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Capitan seconds. We have a motion and a second to approve the bills as presented. Any discussion? Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. Mr. Redlinger. Yes. Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Capitan.
Aye.
And Ms. Heinley.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Item number 5 is a finance report. Again, we welcome Susan Thompson, Finance Director for the City of Fargo. For a finance report, it's on page 20 of the packet.
Okay, page 20 lists the historical and year-to-date 25 revenues, expenditures, and other financial sources. If anyone has any questions, be able to answer them.
Questions? Anyone?
Otherwise, we can look at the statement of net position on the next page. That's page 21. Total assets for both the project fund and the budget fund are $293,135,716. We also have some nominal liabilities of $816,991. So the total net position, this is as of August 31st, is $292,318,725.
Questions on our net cash position?
I was also asked to speak briefly, although Mr. Grinberg's not here. He wanted me to mention the sales tax report as part of my report. That is on page 41. So we've started to put these in the packet as of the last few months. We haven't specifically discussed them, I think, since we started. We obviously monitor this as well at the City of Fargo. I apologize for the tiny print. We've reformatted our internal ones. We'll do that for these as well to kind of compress the prior years. But clearly we're more interested in year-to-date. I generally look at these with a bit of a grain of salt because the tax department is a little more on a cash basis. There's also refunds, and then there are sometimes the remittance back for the purchases over the minimum. And then they have kind of sometimes if the end of the month falls in the weekend, they're not due till the next month, so then the receipts aren't till the next month. So I kind of look at this like you watch the stock market more in a trend than month by month. However, we are starting to see, I think, a trend. This data is a month old already, so it's actually accrual basis. So this is receipts as of June for sales as of June that we received in August. As you can see, the county is down year to year 1.4%. The city is 3.1%. I would have liked to report it increase, but I do have the one that we just got on Monday, and the county made a little bit of progress. It's negative 7.78%. The city of Fargo is still down at 3.15%.
Any questions for Susan on that? Thank you for the deeper dive with regard to the sales tax collections. Greatly appreciate it. The finance report is a actionable item.
Move to approve.
Mr. Steen moves to approve the finance report as presented by Ms. Thompson. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pipcorn seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 6 is a cash budget report. We call on Paul Barthol. It's on page 42 of the packet.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. In front of you is the annual revenue status. A couple things I'd like to point out here. As you see, the current month in the city and county, Cass County sales tax. Our fiscal year to date is lagging a little bit behind what was anticipated, just basically mirroring what Ms. Thompson had previously reported on our estimates of the sales tax are down year on year. So the other thing I'd like to point out on this is that in the last month we did have a $24 million legacy bond fund draw. And if you notice that the 2025 cash budget has been completed, or basically all the funds have been drawn from that account now. So we won't see any more additional month-on-month legacy bond draws. So all $435 million of that fund has now been taken and utilized by the project. Then also again another $3.8 million in state of North Dakota SRF funds were utilized this last month. So we had a pretty robust month of revenue of $35 million, which is actually a good thing. Year on to date, we've also utilized $155 million income that way. The one thing that we have not started drawing off of yet is the WIFIA draw. So that $234 million has still not been touched yet this year. So that's our revenue status. Expenditures, level 1. One of the reasons that I said it was good that we had a robust month for revenue, if you look at, we've had a pretty significant uptick in milestone payments to the developer. We're up over $91 million at that cost to date. That is due to in the statement of principles, there was a revolving fund that they could access up to $90 million for work that was about 80% complete, and allow them to tap into that. So the developer has tapped into that revolving fund, and so you see the payments for that. We also have an uptick in our lands and impacted property mitigation budget with the trial and eminent domain trial, the outcome that we had in August. We've seen a few negotiations and settlements outside of that trial, which I think is a good thing. And so those are starting to hit the books. They didn't show up in this month's bills, but we've seen a couple of them hit the books previously, and then we anticipate those hitting before the end of the year. Just noting to kind of piggyback onto the cash budget report. This lands and property mitigation, due to there being almost $35 million remaining, we are tracking that one very closely to make sure to see what will get expended this year and what will need to get pushed into the 2026 cash budget. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot else on the expenditures worth note. I can go into level 2 if something has
We have a
questions.
question on level 1.
Hey, Paul, thanks for that. Just a quick, 2 questions on level 1. The revolving fund, what's the max? on that?
It's right at about 90 million.
That's the max, right, 90?
Yeah.
Okay, so that amount of expenditure will that won't increase, that's pretty much what they can draw this year? Maybe they can pay down and draw more? Or how does that work?
That's a great question. If they hit interim completion, then they can, those funds will be removed. So we've already paid them 80%. They'll get paid the remaining 20%, and then the allocation that's in that revolving fund will be removed.
Okay.
So then they'll be able to basically replenish that revolving fund by milestone payments that hit interim
So
completion.
basically it'll be replenished by the substantial completion meeting their milestone requirement, and then it goes back to whatever number, and then they can grow back up.
Right, it'll lower down, and that'll give them some more headroom, and so then they can provide, they can submit other pieces of infrastructure that they can get paid out at that 80% level.
Okay, and then another question, so with that answer, so on that line item, the milestone payments, the remaining fiscal year 2025 is 142 million?
Yes.
Do you expect to get to that amount by the end of fiscal 25?
According to their schedule, we should be at close to 120 million. We do have several significant milestone payments for Reach 5, and then we're also looking to get through probably a half dozen to a dozen milestone payments here in the next couple months through ICE, and so that, again, that'll pay out the remaining 20%, but then allow them to replenish up to that $90 million mark, what gets paid down. Okay. So I think we're going to be close to that 140, maybe not quite all of it, but I think could probably at least 120.
And that's a good thing, in my mind, so.
Absolutely, because it's less that we have to push into cash 2026 budget.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Any additional questions on the level 1 summary? Please continue.
All right, well then let's just jump down to the administration budget. This is the tracking of expenses of salary, benefits, and the workings of the Diversion Authority. As you can see, we are tracking well below budget there. This is through the end of August, and so we're able to basically almost a month behind under budget on this budget. So I think we're tracking well here. Any questions on the authority operations budget?
Mayor Mahoney.
Just a question on office expenses. I was under the impression your present space is free rent, or what's the office expenses you're paying?
Copy machines, paper, those type of expenses. It's the cleaning. So the space itself is rent-free, but we have to pay for cleaning and maintenance of it. So those type of costs.
And you're anticipating moving to the new building next year?
That's the anticipated date. I think
So
we're looking at July, August timeframe. Yes.
Will our costs change then as far as those costs for administration? Will they go up or down next year?
Should probably be about the same, may go down a little bit because the developer is providing some of the services there too. They'll provide electric, water, gas service for heating and everything that way. I think they're also providing internet service, which we're paying for now, but they will provide that. So in that sense, it will probably be fairly close to the same, because we'll again have to provide our own copiers, paper, the day-to-day type things. So We'll look at that. I've been working with Jason Benson on this budget and in the cash budget for next year. Probably to offset that, there may be some new equipment that we need to buy to help furnish that. So I don't anticipate this office budget going down, if at all.
Any additional questions? Please continue.
That's the end of my report, Mr. Chairman.
As a note to the public, would you please just share why some of our Minnesota members are not here today, as well as our executive director?
Absolutely. There is a tour going on at this time. Our Minnesota folks and our executive director are meeting with the Minnesota Bonding Commission. They are out touring this area, and we are hoping to have them maybe divert them into North Dakota and possibly see the project, but they'll for sure be looking at Georgetown, Wolverton, and some of the projects in Minnesota. So this is in line, and we're making a very strong pitch to this group to start and look at dedicating bonding and funding towards the Diversion Authority project, especially the Minnesota side that would help complete the city of Moorhead pump station work and the work by Georgetown and Wolverton that's being done by Buffalo Red Water Resource District.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, thank you.
This cash budget report is for information only, so we move on to item number 7, is resolutions to assume planning, design, and construction of the Cheyenne River mitigation. It's on page 5 of the packet, or excuse me, it's in attachment 5, page 49, and we're going to call on Mr. John Shockley for this discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Finance Committee. The resolution before you is a resolution to take over construction of the Cheyenne River Mitigation Project. For those of you who may not have been around since the initial phases of the project, the overall comprehensive project for the diversion requires mitigation be undertaken in different elements of the Red River Valley. This is the final mitigation project that's associated with the diversion project, and it's mitigating some of the habitat and also some of the other fish passage issues associated with the Cheyenne River Mitigation Project. It is not scheduled to be completed until after the overall diversion project is going to be completed. So if you think about it from a scheduling standpoint, this likely won't be completed until 2028, 2029, in order to make sure that West Fargo and the city of Horace maintain their flood certification. The authority's leadership has been in conversations with the Corps of Engineers to take over the responsibility for design, construction, and engineering of this project for a couple of reasons. First of all, it allows the authority to implement it, we believe, in a more cost-effective manner, and also to get it done in a much more efficient manner, and because we have some of our member entities are connected with the project, and we have great relationships with the city of West Fargo, Southeast Cass, and we feel that we can undertake the project in a much more efficient manner. Also, as part of taking over the project, we are able to get the federal funds that are due under the project partnership agreement faster or sooner time period, because until this project is completed, the federal share through the Army Corps of Engineers cannot be finalized, and therefore the return of funds from the Army Corps of Engineers of any unused amounts will not come back to the authority. And so leadership, Jason has indicated, is on a tour, but leadership of the authority is recommending to take over this portion of the project. Paul is available if you have questions about the budget adjustment regarding the Cheyenne River Mitigation Project. If you approve this resolution, we would then notify the Army Corps of Engineers. We would anticipate undertaking a what's called a memo to the record that would allow us to start the design phase of the project. And then once a PPA amendment is ready, then we would enter into the PPA amendment formalizing the actual construction of the Cheyenne River Mitigation Project. Happy to answer any questions, and Paul is also available to answer any of the budgeting issues.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. Again, we're on item number 7, and we're looking for a motion to approve the resolution to assume planning, design, and construction of the Cheyenne River mitigation. Mayor Mahoney.
I would move to approve, but I'd also ask the question, John, the green line you're doing, is that a ditch or a pipe?
That is, to give you a size perspective, that is the current Horace and West Fargo diversion as compared. The blue line is the stormwater diversion channel. And so it kind of gives, it's a great illustration of the size differential.
So, but that's already built.
Yeah, the green part is already built. We just have to mitigate some of the structures to allow fish passage to better traverse that project.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the resolution to assume planning, design, and construction of the Cheyenne River mitigation. Is there any further discussion?
But just to be clear, Bernie, in some ways what the discussion is that this might be cheaper if we take it, if rather than the Corps takes it. It could be considerable savings for the diversion.
Correct. That is absolutely correct. And more efficient from a time schedule. Again, Mr. Shockley had indicated that there's going to be a budget change request. That is down on number 9, and that will be a discussion that Paul will lead us in. But we are talking a $53 million budget change. So if there's any questions on either of those, we'll, being that it's tied to item number 7, we'd certainly have Paul come up, but we can discuss it on item number 9 as well. All right? I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson. Ms. Johnson. Mr. Redlinger. Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Capitian.
Aye.
Mr. Reeds.
Yes.
Ms. Heinley.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Motion carries. Item number 8 is memorandums, understanding, and agreements. Again, we call on Mr. Shockley. We're discussing items A through C. That starts on page 56 and goes to page 100. Mr. Shockley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Finance Committee. The first item I have on the agenda is MURA with AP Wireless. There is a AP Wireless cell phone tower that is located within the UMA area, and there are multiple carriers that, it's my understanding, there are multiple carriers within that have bandwidth on the tower. Instead of relocating the tower, which is both time-consuming and costly to take a whole entire tower and relocate it to an area that is within the protected area. We reached an agreement with AP Wireless where we're going to protect the tower area with a embankment around, levee and embankment around the facility. There's cost savings involved in that because it is a cell phone tower. It's not a residential structure. It's not occupied, so there's not a human safety or life safety issue associated with it. And so this represents an overall cost savings. It maintains the utility of the AP Wireless tower in place, and it is agreeable to AP Wireless. Happy to answer any questions about that. I can cover off the next.
Any questions on item 8A? Please continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The second item is a joint defense agreement. AP Wireless currently, as with most wireless towers, has a long-term easement that's located on the property. And so as part of the ongoing eminent domain actions in the area, AP Wireless entered into a joint defense agreement with the authority and Cass County Joint Water Resource District, so that if there's any litigation that comes about because of the eminent domain and because of their easement ownership, that we would agree to jointly defend them. So it is part and parcel of the first agreement, but There's no direct cost associated with it right now. It's just if they are named as part of an action through a landowner that we would provide that defense.
Questions? Please continue.
The final item is a little bit of a unique item. Cenex has a number of facilities that cross under the Cheyenne River, and as part of the Cheyenne River Mitigation Project, there has to be tests and studies conducted regarding the relocation, potential relocation of facilities due to the Cheyenne River Mitigation Project. Because they are utility, there are certain protections under the North Dakota Open Records Law regarding the location of specific utility functions. Obviously, for security purposes, you don't want members of the public that may not have the best of intents to have access to specific locations and information relating to that utility. And so they are exempt for certain portions of the information that they're providing to the authority as part of the project. And so we are proposing to enter into a non-disclosure agreement with them regarding that information. You'll note in the agreement itself, I took extraordinary pains to make sure that it referenced that it is entirely subject to the North Dakota Open Records Law. So to the extent that there is information that would not be covered by the exemption, we would have to provide it to them or provide it to the public. But there are certain facilities that are associated with the provision of their utility service that are exempt from open records requests. Happy to answer any questions. It's wanted to make sure with full transparency, we're not trying to get around the open records law. We're recognizing that this is just a unique circumstance in which there's a public utility that has some public safety issues associated with too much knowledge being known publicly about it.
Any questions on 8C? All right, for the committee, this is an actionable item. We can go individually or as a group, whatever's your preference. Commissioner Pitcairn.
Move to approve all three.
Okay. Commissioner Pitcairn moves to approve the MOUs and agreements on 8A, 8B, and 8C. Is there a second?
I will second.
Mr. Redlinger seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. John, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Capitan.
Aye.
Mr. Reese.
Yes.
Ms. Heinlein.
Yes.
And that is everyone.
Moving on, we are now on item number 9, a budget change request for the Cheyenne River Mitigation Project, which we discussed in number 7. And this is a discussion that is on page 105 of the packet. We'll ask Mr. Paul Barthol for this information. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Again, this is it goes along with the resolution that was just passed. So we're now asking to add 53 million. The 53 million is the estimate that we received from the Army Corps of Engineers that they assumed that it would take for them to build the work. So as part of the PPA amendment, we are looking for the Army Corps to transfer that amount of money to the authority to perform this work. So what we are asking for at this point is to increase the program budget, which is the amount of money that we anticipate spending through substantial completion. So increase it by that $53 million at this point. So our program budget will increase from that $2.892 billion to the $2.945 billion number that we will start tracking from here on out if this is approved. So the anticipated funding to match this is like I said, after the PPA amendment, and so depending on when that is and we get authorization from the Corps, we're anticipating those funds to come to the program sometime next year. So I would be happy to answer any questions, but this is basically the financial follow-up to the resolution that was just passed.
Any questions? Anyone? Again, this is an actionable item. Committee members?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Steen?
I would move to approve the budget update to $2.945 billion with a $53 million adjustment.
Commissioner Capitan seconds. We have a motion and a second to approve the budget change request for the Cheyenne River Mitigation Project from $2.892 billion to $2.945 billion, an addition of $53 million. Is there any discussion? Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Mr. Redlinger. Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Capitan.
Aye.
Mr. Reeds.
Yes.
And Ms. Heinley. That is everyone.
Motion carries. Thank you, Don. Moving on to item number 10 is the Diversion Authority Board approval contracting actions. Again, we call on Paul Barthol for this information. It starts on page 106. Item 10A is on 108. Item 10B is 111. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let's start with work package 41A, the Maple Bit River Benching Project. This is a project that is upstream of the Maple River Aqueduct. It is needed for the P3 type project to reduce velocities going across and approaching the aqueduct. So it's basically widening out the river and providing benching and reinforcement through utilizing existing trees and providing trees that we have on authority property. So we're going to be utilizing those as part of this construction. Comstock Construction Incorporated was the low bid, with a low bid of $358,400. It was significantly lower than our engineer's estimate. If we take a look at that and the other two bids, the reason that we did recheck with the bidder, and we also double checked all of the calculations and figures in the bid just to make sure that there wasn't a decimal point that slipped or an addition error or multiplication error, and it all checked out. However, the one difference between that one contractor and the other two bidders is that they have previously done this type of work for Buffalo Red in Minnesota, whereas Industrial Builders and Sullen Brothers have not. And so if you look at the first line, mobilization, significant amount of money was placed in the IBI and Sullen bids just as kind of contingency for the unknowns. Same thing with site cleanup, significant difference between those. So even though it's significantly less than our engineer's estimate, we have confidence in this contractor having done the work before, and so we are proposing awarding to this contractor. The other one that's in front of you is this task order amendment. This is also a follow-up to the resolution. This is a scope and fee increase for 2025 and 2026 for Houston Moore Group to begin the preliminary design and preliminary work for the permitting for the Cheyenne River Mitigation Project. So this is incorporated within that $53 million program budget change, as the Corps had a significant amount of design cost within their estimate. And so this will be incorporated into that. However, because it's not been approved yet, we have not incorporated it into the 2026 cash budget. So any questions on either one of those?
Questions for Paul? All right, thank you. These are actionable items. We can take them separately or together, whatever's your preference.
Move to approve both.
Mayor Mahoney moves to approve the DA Board approval contracting actions for 10A and 10B. Is there a second?
Second.
Susan Thompson seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes?
Mayor Mahoney. Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. Mr. Rillinger. Yes. Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Capitan.
Aye.
Mr. Reese.
Yes.
And Ms. Heinley.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Motion passes. Item number 11 is other business. Item A is the 2026 draft cash budget, excuse me. Again, we call on Paul. It's on 115 of the packet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, I am standing in for Executive Director Jason Benson, as he could not be here, but per the JPA, there is a requirement to present a cash budget before the Finance Committee and Board prior to October 1st. And so what you see in front of you is our first version of that cash budget. I'm glad you're all sitting down as you're taking a look at it, because it is significantly higher than we've seen previously. Peggy, if you could scroll to the sum total at the bottom, we're looking at $931 million in expenditures for this next year, of which there's over 730 is the anticipated draws and payments to the developer. This is based on their schedule, as if when they are still anticipating an October, end of September, early October completion date. And so basically what we've been anticipating in expenditures to the developer has all been condensed down to this 1 year. And so getting back to Mr. Steen's question, if it's not spent this year, you're going to see that number go up because they're still holding in their schedule that October 2026 completion date, so their payments end at that time frame. The other thing that you'll note in here, we're coming to the end of our lands and impacted property budget. Again, this is one of those that we're watching. If you see in this, the 35.7 million remaining this year, and then we're going to be having 27 roughly. However, if we don't close on the properties that we're anticipating yet this year, it'll get pushed into 2026. Most of the other items are all pretty standard, projecting from what we've done the last few years. One other thing to note, you will see that $50.975 million from the construction contingency. That's basically per the statement of principles. There were additional funds and additional milestone incentives that would be paid out to the developer in 2026 if they complete the aqueducts, if they complete the bridges, those type of things. So that's what that line item is there to cover the payments outlined in the statement of principles. Scrolling on down, like I said, that totals to the $931 million. If you look at the Fargo, our funding sources, note that there is no more legacy funds, so that has been zeroed out. We're also looking at basically a flat number from the Fargo sales tax and Cass County sales tax from this year till next year. We are looking at utilizing a larger amount of the cash on hand. Per the report today, we were about $250 million in cash on hand. We're looking at utilizing that and spending that down. One of the reasons that we want to utilize that is that with the WIFIA draws, we do still have the 569. We have not tapped into that, but as we get to interim completions, we can start using some of that this year. And so we'll see If we don't use it this year, the WIFIA draw number will be able to go up, but it's still maxed out at that $569 million total. So we'd like to utilize the cash on hand and then continue with the WIFIA draws. Since that is a loan, it's a 2%, just over 2% for a loan, but utilize the cash on hand. The other thing that you see to balance these out is a temporary sales tax bonds. Through the financial plan and through the program budget, we've anticipated basically a short-term bonding to cover any expenses. And so to make sure that we had the funding on hand to pay the developer, we're looking at about $220 million in temporary sales tax bonds. So, are there any questions?
Questions on the cash budget for 2026?
Happy to sit down and talk through details more that way where we're at. Like I said, we do have a few things that we are refining and we will refine by the end of the year. So you're looking at either in December or January having the final cash budget in front of you.
Thank you. This item is for information only, but it will be presented to the full board tomorrow. Does any member of the Finance Committee have anything that they'd like to bring forward at this time? Any of the staff have anything? Hearing nothing, our next meeting will be October 22nd, 2025. Thank you. Have a good evening.